Because already we are late for 2-3 minutes. Om Namah Shivaya Guru Satchidanandamurtaye Nisprapanchaya Santaya Niralambaya Tejase. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe तेजस्विनावदितमस्तु मा विद्विषावहे। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम गुरुभ्यो नमः। शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभासकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरागरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्यमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। So today is the Navaratri, the second day, and very auspicious day. So nowadays we pray to the Parasakti, also Lord Shiva as well. Whenever you pray to the Parasakti, Lord Shiva also there, right? So very special day, and so and today we are keep continuing our also the I was saying the yoga darshan. Still keep continuing the yoga darshan. I tried to put some note. I need to have proper arrangement for the face. I don't have stand here. So we have been studying second chapter, Abhidhyasmita Ragadvesa Avinivesa Klesa, right? Now is the time, and if you have any questions, doubts, so let me clarify before we are going to listen.
Yes, Swamiji, I have a question. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. In the Vijnana Bhairav Tantra, there is Chetana. Chetana, the individual awareness. So that is a other term than we are used to. Is that right? Is it the same that we discussed earlier in other lessons?
So your question is, what is the meaning of Chetan, right?
Yes. Does it relate to like Jivatman or something like what we have?
Yes. That would study in Shiva Sutra.
Yeah.
Chaitanam Atma. That is the Shiva Sutra, the first sutras. Chaitanam Atma. Atma is the form of the awakening the consciousness. Chaitanya translated as a consciousness. So Atma is the fully awakening, fully alert, fully awareness, and full of conscious, absolute conscious. Chaitanam Atma. Chaitanya means consciousness. We derive it is a Chaitanya here. The translation is immortal consciousness. Absolute. The consciousness which is liberating. The consciousness itself, the liberations. That's called Chaitanya. But when say Chetana is like it's very good. That I'm not going to Sanskrit details. So Chetana is the translates as consciousness. And Patanjali Yoga Sutra we say chitta. Chitta is like chetana.
Yeah.
It's also the consciousness. But
Okay.
chitta we translate as a different breaths, different mind. So chetana means the awakening the consciousness, a alert consciousness. Which consciousness? And called Chaitanya, Chaitanya Atma. So that already we study in Siva Sutra. And Siva Sutra, what they say, Chaitanya and the full consciousness. That also I can a little bit go to Sutra number 1. Very interesting Siva Sutra. I love the Siva Sutra. It's like Vijnana Tantra, and Siva Sutra is very small, but they explain so beautiful. And as a student of Vedanta myself, is Advaita more easier for me to understand all kind of the concept of Siva Sutra, even Yoga Vasishtha, Yoga Sutras, very simple. But to teach, I need have the proper how say proper commentary or proper to students. I don't find, just I'm checking that what they say, because I need to remind sometimes, say Chaitanya Atma. I try to check. Yeah, Chaitanya Atma means they say awareness which has absolute freedom. That's called Chaitanya. Chaitanya also, you say Chaitanya also, you can say that Chaitanya means also the awareness which has absolute freedom upon knowledge and activities. So here they say Chaitanya Atma, the fully, the awareness, the alert, the awakening, that absolute freedom, and that is the consciousness and that knowledge. So here say Chaitanya means the absolute freedom of the, and that known as Atma. And that known as self, the nature of reality. Awareness which has absolute freedom of all knowledge and activity is the self, nature of reality. So Chaitanya Atma, that is very simple to understand. Chaitanya Atma.
Thank you.
So, but it depends sometimes how they use the terminology. We say in Sanskrit, Dhatu Nama Aneka Arthaha is a word that could be different meaning according to the use of that words. Right?
I understand.
So when you say mango is mango, but mango is not so much meanings in English. But in Sanskrit, one word can have many meanings. According to use for, according to the use. I just give one example, like iron. So iron depends on how you use it. For the knife, for the gun, for the buildings, for the constructions, for the many things you can use. So the iron, and when used in different purposes, it changes the form, it changes the usefulness, and it changes also activities as well. So similarly, and the word of Sanskrit, and it could be different meanings according to place and atmosphere and so on.
Yes.
So now avidya asmita ragadvesa vinivesa klesaha, and that we have been studied, and today it was very interesting. Yesterday lecture about avinivesa, very interesting. That kind of lecture even I never speak. Maybe after some time I'll speak different, right? Then today we are going to study te prati prasava hiyaha sakhmaha. So this is second chapter, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and sutra number 10. And do you have any questions, Atmanand?
You know, I meditate 2 times per day. First time in the morning and less time before going to bed. But when I meditate, I'm thinking of my breath and something to focus on. And this is when we talk about fear of death and raga, attachment and repulsion. Contemplate on this. Think about this. I never think about this when I think about this when I'm awake, when I'm not meditating, when I'm sometime I think about it, but not during meditation. It seems like we should contemplate about it during meditation. Or how is it?
Actually, I can give you very nice, clearer guidelines for you, because the life you're leading in the social life, you have a lot of job and house and all these things. So the best way during meditations, very beginning, let deep breath and bring the awareness to the breath for example 2-3 minutes, and then let aware of the breath soham, and that is very important kriya in the kriya yoga. That's what I say. Yeah. So when you breathe it, let aware, take deep breath from the base of spinal cord and reach to the top of the head and through the circulation chakras. So do for 11 times, 7 times. So after that, what happened? So it takes maximum 5 minutes, right? So what happening? Your mind became concentrated. So we are so much, whatever you have, your mind is engaged external world is naturally coming to. So after that, what happened? You simply sit down calmly and quietly, observe the whole body, then aware the breath. After that, whatever the thought comes, it will come. Raga, dvesa, fear of death, whatever comes, doesn't matter. So you don't need to give importance. Let it be. Let it be. But same time, and after that, you simply and observe the breath more. But same time, only observe the breath is very important for you. And whatever comes, either focus on eyebrow center or whatever, but don't give importance. So then what happening? Sometimes observe breath and go to the eyebrow center, observe breath, same time observing breath and eyebrow center. So the two things important. And same time, keep continuing awareness of the whole body. Even thoughts are there, but don't look at. Now is not so much to focus raga, dvesa, all these things, but that you have to put in the samskara in the mind at first to understand properly with the viveka. Am I clear that? Yes. But when we are going through some kind of retreats, like 10 days, 20 days, 1 month, or come to ashrams, so you can study differently. So that is also my Guruji used to give guidance. Let it be whatever comes thoughts, you create the thoughts, you destroy the thoughts, not attach the thoughts, let it create the thoughts, let it create the bad thoughts, but that different. It's very much advanced meditations. But currently, no, it's good to, as I say that again, I repeat, just come, breathe, deep inhale and exhale without soham nothing. After doing this, so naturally, yes, I am. Doesn't matter whatever you have the problems. I see sometimes when I'm angry or react or top, I can take deep breath. So naturally, I can be free. You come to yourself, come to your body, not in the mind all the time. After that, soham. So soham is the best. So soham, you already understand, I am that. So it is the unconsciously, you are not unconscious. You are not only intellectual because you listen the sounds of breath, natural breath, soham. So that the important kriyas in the kriya. So then after that, you don't need to do that any khachari mudras, all these things, nothing. But at the same time, inner sambhavi mudra has to be, awareness has to be bring there. The soham doing, you close your eyes, bring the inner sambhavi mudras, aware. Do nothing. And at the same time, sit down and aware of the same time, you are aware of the breath, eyebrow center, but at the same time, aware of the head, ears, whole body. You are like healing yourself, let becoming aware of yourself. What is going on? Is your jivatma? What is going on in the physical body? So after that, observe breath, observe the again. You don't need to all the time go to the whole body. Then sit down and observe the calmness. And even if there is a lot of disturbed thing comes, maybe you are disturbed many things. It happens. it happens. Even as myself as a yogi, also many things I have to be focused. So you understand me? Even nowadays I have a lot of work going, heavy work, but a lot of mental work. Even 10, 12 people working. I don't do lot of physical work, but a lot of mental work, and they giving guidance. So when I'm sitting sometimes in meditation, I think about the wall, I think about this and that, and how to give the money, how to finance, how to cleaning all. But I sit down and I take deep breath and I go to Soham. It's releasing. And sometimes I forget everything. Even I forget sometimes my own body as well. So forget means, so it is a little bit go to the and pranic and all these things. But this comes naturally when you are already mastery certain extent of your mind, right? And when you stay in the physical world and in the samsara, of course, and so generally lot of attachment, lot of moha, it all comes to you natural. Doesn't matter you are a monk or not, doesn't matter, or enlightenment doesn't matter. So that is comes. But only the enlightenment persons, when they go to samadhi, into higher consciousness, so they already liberate. So they will understand this body not necessary for them. So that time they already decided. So I can leave any time the body. But there are certain enlightenment people, they have their karma to serve the humanity, serve the nation, whatever. So they have the special duty to perform. So that way, and that way they need the physical bodies and what.
Okay.
So afraid of death is not easy currently, and you have to be free from death. Not easy. So let keep continue, and how to management of your stress, manage, let relax, let not to have a tense in the mind before going to sleep. At least the annamaya kosa to be free. That is important in your common life.
Okay.
Right? So let the vyadhi, the sickness or mental tension, and so on. So at least you can free from currently your daily life of the stress and strain from the external worlds. And that is the very important your kriya. Because when you are abhinivesa and not to fear of death, you need to have a lot of and entering into samadhi and long way to go. It's not easy. That you need Vedantic knowledge. As I say that, we can have many gurus, but out of them, the Brahmanishta Guru is the final, who give the sannyas and lead you into the path of final liberations. Atmanan?
Yeah, right. This is very doable, manageable. It's very close to what I'm already doing. It's very close to what I'm already doing.
But same time, focus more Soham, as I say that. Because that very good help. That is my practical experiences.
Good.
And sometimes, see, in case you can't meditate by sitting, just lie down. That is also good. And breathing from the stomach levels. 10 times, 20 times, take deep inhale from stomach level, stomach breathe in and down. You can do 100 times, 200 times. So that you can take 10, 15 minutes. So that is also very good help. So naturally, sometimes what happens, you don't like to breathe from the stomach, your body going to finish and tired. That is also very interesting. That what I do sometimes when I'm very much tired, I can't sit down, so at least I can breathe.
Okay.
Okay. So let we shall start. Sutta number 10. Te prati prasabaheyah sakhmaha. Te means this. Prati prasabha. Prati prasa means along with the passing out of activity. Heyah, that are destroyed. Sakhmaha, when but potential. These when but potential are destroyed along with the passing out of activity. See that? Te prati prasabha heyah sakhmaha. What is that? Those classes are reducible by involution when they are subtle. So you must understand what kind of classes to reduce. You remember yesterday what I speak about Avinivesa, because the sutra number 10 is the continuity of the sutra number 9. What they say that yesterday? They say that one can actually reduce. One can actually reduce the classes once. So that is the sutra number 9. Say, awakening the vivek is help you how to free from the afraid of death. So you can minimize. You can reduce the klesa, not to afraid of death. So that is the sutra number 11. They say that te pratiprasavaya sakhmaha. They say those klesas are reducible by involution when they then here we try to speak these when but potential are destroyed along with the passing out of activities. That these 5 applications, when their seed power has its wear been burnt up, disappear of themselves. Along with that, yogi's mind, when the having fulfilled the purpose of its existence, is becomes latent. This is that te prasiprasavasakamaha te pancha klesaha the dak bija bignya bija kalapa yogi nasarita adhikari chetasi praline saha tainai vastam gachanti. So what I mean here, we have 5 classes. Abhida, Asmita, Raga, Dvesa, Vinivesa. These are the 5 classes. And these 5 classes is not only the one. We have 5 classes. There is Sutta number 10. And the Sutta number saying that, Sutta number 10, they said that the 5 classes, and that 5 classes we can really bunt up. They say, want to disappear of themselves along with that yogi's mind when having fulfilled the purpose of his existence, it becomes latent. So, and then how actually how you can reduce these classes? Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesa, Vinaya, these are the 5 classes. The Sutta number 10 they say that, so how to reduce it? Because there is subtle levels. Then say the classes are reducible by involution when they are subtle. But how to reduce actually? Because the subtlest levels. Therefore, they say Sutta number 11. So our gurus say that the modification of the classes are reducible through meditations. They say that the Sutta number 11 has to come before the 10. They said this 11 sutras should have come before the 10th one. The 5 classes have 4 stages. Each namely latent and attenuate, alternating and active. This happens like a stream coming out of a mountain and gradually becoming larger and larger. When a river emerges in the ocean, it is very big. The classes are growing in their force like a river. Thus, in the beginning, the classes are latent, but slowly they become more and more active. So they say the classes are reducible by involution when they are subtle. But when it becomes so big, it's so difficult to reduce. So we have to reduce very beginning. All these classes. Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesa, Vinivesa, the 5 classes, we must reduce. How? By awakening of Viveka, what the last sutra say that in the 9. But again they say that dhyana heya astat britayaha. How is it possible to reduce? The modification of klesa are reducible from meditation only. That sukma, involution when they're subtle. So it's possible when they're small. And one can understand these classes by just watching one's mind. They are not only in the subconscious, but are also found in the conscious mind. From their active state, there should be brought down to the alternative state from there, and to the attenuate state of mind, and ultimately to the latent state, while the attenuate form is to be reduced to the inactive condition. This is very important, and therefore it should be done first. So what do you understand now? So all this, the classes we can reduce by meditations only. Why so? Because our classes are not only the gross level, not only the conscious level, it is also unconscious level as well. So therefore, you say Dhyayatahi astada Bhritayaha, the modification reduced by meditations. What is the modifications actually? So as I say that the modification of the mind is a chitta britti nirodha, and here the brittis are the modification of the mind. So brittis are the classes, right? The brittis are the classes. That what we have been studying. The Britayaha Pancha Trayaha Klishta Klishta, Klishta and Aklishta is pleasure and unpleasure always as well. Is happiness, unhappiness as well. So similarly, one can reduce all kind of classes, but it is different here. In Sutta number 9, or before that is a Avidya Asmita Raga Dvesa Abhinivesaha, that has to be already we are explained, right? What is the raga? What is the avidya, asmita, raga, dvesa, abhinivesa? What is this? So these are things we can understand or reduce them by burning them, by awakening of the viveka. But once we are awakening the viveka, so naturally you can meditate. So awakening viveka means the chitta suddhi. Awakening of the viveka means chitta suddhi. The purification chitta alone leads to the meditations. Sometimes we can see a lot of things are repeat, right? Many things we study every day, this kind of repetitions. Actually, if you take positively, it's not about repetitions. It is about reminding to mind, reminding to our consciousness, remind to our unconsciousness, remind our subconsciousness, time to time, and every day you need to remind. This is called samskara. This is called samskara. Right? So we need to have, like you are eating every day, you meditating every day. So why need to meditate every day? Why need to meditate every day? Right? Why need to meditate every day? Because every day we have breaths. Every day we have avidya, asmita, raga, this abhinivasa keep continuing. Every day we need to meditate to resolve, right? So like that. So every day is very important. The sadhana. Sadhana is very important every day. So study is a part of sadhana. Seva is the part of sadhana. In ashram, normally, what we, for example, we spend the time in ashrams. In ashram life, generally we don't study the scriptures all the time. We don't study. Especially every guru ashrams, they have their own perspectives and their own way, and to help their own disciples, and in order to attend that Brahmagyan. So every gurus have their own way. Some gurus, they say that do seva. Some gurus say let practice Hatha Yoga. Some gurus say let be a teacher. Somebody guru say let the management. Some gurus say let go to study Bhagavad Gita. Some gurus say let you have to do office job. You understand me? Some gurus say let chopping the only the coconuts. Some gurus say that let the make some malas. Some gurus say let like Atman, let do all digital, be a host and to convert the files and send it to all. So you see, So every guru have their own way to guide their disciples. But most of the time what happens as we are a disciple, we have our personal understanding of enlightenment. And that is the dangerous. And to follow the guru, that is very much dangerous. If I already know how to guide yourself and do the sadhana and walking the path of Brahmajnana, at least as per my understanding, so he's supposed not approach a guru. He's supposed not even approach the scriptures. He's supposed not travel one ashram to another. He's supposed not travel and meet one guru to another. Actually, no need. If you already know about the sadhana of yourself. Am I clear? This waste of the time. So therefore, we have to also minimize our ego, minimize our asmita, minimize our also avidyas. So far, and we cannot guide ourselves. So we must actually and listen the guidance of gurus, and we must approach to gurus and masters and who really can guide us. We may know many things intellectually, but we are not confirmed. So we have so many doubts in our life, so many doubts. I'll tell you very honestly, even certain times, certain things, and I'm not clear. I try to meditate to clear. It takes me a long time. If I have the physical guru, I could contact, I could immediately be clear, right? So same time, therefore, I also visit and guru is time to time as certain, and when I have the big classes, when I have the big classes, so I need the help of my guru as well. So I don't have this ego actually. I need. So anyway, and then they say that we cannot see the stages of the different cases in the conscious and subconscious levels of the mind. All of them can be brought to the latent form from the attenuated form. Thus, by meditating upon the various stages of the classes, they can ultimately be annihilated. This includes the evolutionary process as well as the involutionary process. From avidya to avinivesa is the evolutionary process, while from avinivesa to avidya. So it is very interesting. From avidya to avinivesa is the evolutionary process, while from avinivesa to avidya is the involutionary process, just opposite. You have to go reverse. There are various stages in both of the process, such as subtle, active, and so on. So many sanskar actually is come to surface level. So we know them, we can clear it. We can clear it. But certain kind of stages of our classes actually we don't know. It's very much subtlest. It's very difficult to recognize through our gross mind. It's very difficult to even recognize by our subconscious or unconscious mind. No. So it's very difficult. So sometimes we have to go to our transcendental consciousness, samadhi. So therefore we are different kind of samadhi. So we can really free from the subtlest level of our classes. That what we have been studying. Sabija samadhi, nirbija samadhi. Nirbija means seedless samadhi. So where you can free from the root cause of your sufferings, the seed of the classes, the seed of the classes. So now we are very clear. We cannot see the classes. So we cannot see the classes. We cannot see the classes unless we are very careful. We are very careful. We cannot see the classes unless we are very careful. For example, it may say that you have no fear of death. We cannot see the classes unless we are very. We cannot see the classes unless we are very careful. For example, you may say that you have no fear of death. But that is not true, because it is said that only after attaining Dharma Mega Samadhi are the seeds of completely burnt, not before. So there is many kind of Samadhi, and we are going to study Dharma Mega Samadhi, and in the 4th chapter they explain. But when you study the first chapters, they don't explain about Dharma Mega Samadhi. There is a Kaivalya Samadhi, Sabija Samadhi, Nirbija Samadhi, but they don't explain Dharma Mega Samadhi. Dharma Mega Samadhi actually one of the final Samadhi, even you don't know these words. You don't know even words. So we cannot see the classes unless we are very careful. For example, we may say that you have no fear of death. Which one I say like intellectual? I don't care the death, right? I don't care anything. I'm the Atman. I am the body. I am free now. I know myself. Who are you to tell me what I have to do? Right? It's all Arasmita, ego. So they say we cannot see the classes unless we are very careful. For example, you may say that you have no fear of death. But that is not true, because it is said that only after attaining Dharma Samadhi are the seeds are completely burnt, not before. Actually, once you are free from the death, or you are not afraid of the death, naturally you are not going to speak this word at all, because is understanding. It's called bodha. It's called bodha. Is you are already enlightenment. Once you are enlightenment, these words are you are not going to speak at all. A common person speak. I have no afraid of death. I don't care the death. And then after that, what they do? They're going to hang themselves, right? They're going to suicide. So many people who say that I don't care. I don't care the death. I'm not afraid of death. Or I know myself. Who are you to tell me what I have to do? Such a people really going to hang themselves. And that's happening. You can see that, right? The many people very much aggressive this way. Or they go to mental hospital, mentally disturbed the people. When you are very much angry, we say, I know myself. Who are you to tell me what I have to do, right? Such a people, you can check them very honestly. You can check a little bit, investigate, a little bit research work. Such a people have hyperactive, hypertensions, or they go into depressions, or they go to mental hospitals, or they need psychiatric, psychotherapist, or going to hanging themselves. You can check that, right? You can check that. Or badly, they need guru guidance. But these people, they never want to the guidance of gurus as well. Those people say that I know myself. I don't need guru. I don't need master. I know myself. I know what I have to do. I know my sadhana. Right? Such a people actually, that not possible. That state of the consciousness does not facilitate them to even to approach the guru at all. Not possible. And I see these people in my life, even certain of my students or disciples or whatever, I see in my life. Even I can't talk with them. And I see them certain times, after a certain time, I saw them, they used to go to the psychotherapist. Or sometimes, and I see them, they go to kind of taking antidepressants and a lot of things. I saw in practically in my life. And that happens. It not happen, this is true. And attaining Dharma Mega Samadhi are the seeds of complete bond. So Dharma Mega Samadhi, if a sadhaka, a yogi attend that Samadhi, so one can really getting out of the 5 classes, then the person realize I have no desire to live this world, and I can be anytime free from the Annamaya Kosha. I can leave the body anytime, any moments. And such a yogi called enlightenment, and they never die. And before they decided, I want to leave the body and this time, this moment. Like Lord Buddha, he called his all disciples and all his devotees and whatever. He say, anyone like to visit me? And this is the full moon night of the, the special month. And Lord Buddha left his body. And Vaisakha, I think. And he left his body the day of enlightenment. I think the same time he left his body. So you can check in Google. So he actually declared, I want to leave the body this time, this moment. And he actually left the body midnight or sometime like this. It was full moon as well. So what I mean, and such a yogi has no afraid of death at all. And such a yogi, such a master, such a guru, and they really can free from all kind of places, all kind of places. Nothing I'm speaking, I don't speak intellectually many things, but I have this kind of experience when, and I used to, and doing Panchagini sadhana, there is some glimpse coming, but that awareness does not continue all the time. Does not continue all the time. I can have this kind of experience. That time being comes in the glimpse. Let leave the body this time. Let leave the body and get out. So, but does mean is the that glimpse, it can help in the future. It does mean that the consciousness is not make you 24 hours and free from the death. No, I don't think so. So therefore, and so many kind of samadhi. So some samadhis give you certain kind of, like you are have the deep sleep, and you say that, oh, I slept as well. So you have the glimpse of the experience of the subconscious mind, glimpse, but that does not continue for 24 hours. So like that, and when you actually meditating and in the samadhi, so different kind of samadhi comes, and that one can have experience. But that time, actually, we need the complete samadhi. We need the final samadhi, where we can really and free from the 100% all places, either the subtle or the gross or the causal levels. And so until Kaivalya, there is every possibility that the seeds of kleshas may again becomes active. You say, and after that they say Kaivalya Samadhi. So after Meghannath Samadhi, Kaivalya. Kaivalya means final liberations. Final liberations. This is until Kaivalya, there is every possibility that the seeds of the kleshas may again become active. So again, until you are the Brahmagyani or Atmagyani or the final samadhi according to yoga, so they don't talk about Brahmagyana, they don't talk about these things, but they talk about at least the soul and spirit. But at the same time, until unless you attend the Kaivalya Samadhi, so still the kleshas, the karmas, and still there, and that can be again active. So a spiritual aspirant will find that for many years the breaths do not trouble him, and he finds himself at easy for a long time. Sometimes he thinks that he has finished with every samskar and klesha, but suddenly one day he finds that he is failing unexpected. That unexpected failures is due to presence of the seed of the kleshas in his mind. Very interesting. You can see that, and many gurus and many masters and many saints, many sages, and you will check in the history and many civilizations, actually they think they're already enlightenment. They think, and actually they reach also highest level of that consciousness, but it happens, and that karma, that sanskara again bring back to them to they also fell into. So, and that is the more subtlest level that samskaras. It can be reactive, like a volcano, right? Unlike the volcano, there is the fire, the volcano, but we never know that fire again coming to up, right? The volcano is very much the depth level of the fire. The volcano is like the samskar is like volcano. So you may think, oh, I am completely and free from sanskaras. So when go to volcano, we think there is no fire, nothing, but it's coming from depth level, that fire to larva and up, right? The volcano. The similar, the sanskaras are like that. And I give you one very simple examples. Then you can understand how enlightenment persons or the higher advanced yogis in samadhi, and they have the suffering with their samskara and the kleshas. Great example. We see that Rishi, Vishwamitra, Vishwamitra in Mahabharata. So Vishwamitra was a great Rishi, great saint. He was one of the advanced yogi. He attained all kind of samadhi. He was also enlightenment to an extent. But what happened? There was sanskaraj. He may not attain Kaivalya completely. So what happened? During his samadhi, the Menka, a celestial heavenly girl, celestial Menka, she is the beauty among the all planets. And she came, arrive into this planet. And then what happened? The Vishwamitra, he was fall in love with the Menka. Then that are called karma and samskaras in direct levels. And then out of their love, out of their Sakuntala was born. Sakuntala, the daughter was born. But after they fight each other, say, who is going to take care of this girl? Well, the Vishwamitra say that, no, I want you to disturb me. So I can give you the course, but whatever. So Vishwamitra not accepting that child. Menka also not accepting as well. The both of them, the Vishwamitra is great, said, no, say that you disturb me. So whatever the story there, so Vishwamitra was disagreed to take care of the child. Menka was a celestial girl. She coming from the heaven. She also want to leave to her own source of the place. So the both of them, nobody taking care of that Sakuntala, the girl, the small girl. And they left that small girl in the jungle, in the forest. And after that, of course, she was grown up with the Rishi, Kanava Rishi, Kanava. And that is the ashram is available today close to the Haridwar when you come to visit. And I went to that ashram as well. They call it Kanava ashram, Kanava. So the Rishi Kanava, and he was taking care of that girl because it was the Rishi where he was meditating. So what happening? So he listening, a child was crying in the forest. So after that, and he came and took this child, and she was grown up and in the ashram of the Kanava Rishi. And she became, and of course, she was Tapaswini. She was a yogini, Tapaswini. So after that, she married the great king, and that called Dusmanta. And after that, something like that. But anyway, so after that, then, and she married. I mean, she married, they have the son coming. Son name called Bharata. So Bharata, so today is Bharata became emperor and king of the great Mahabharata. And Bharata, due to name of Bharata, the Indian name, ancient name called Mahabharata. So great empire. So that was the story. So what I mean, the Vishwamitra did all tapasyas. So he have some samskara karmas again come back to fulfill. And it is very subtlest, very much subtlest levels and very difficult to recognize. Right? So this I give one examples like that. How the samskaras. So Vishwamitra is such a great Rishi, great saint, great saints. But of course, after that, so Vishwamitra went again to meditate and enter into the final enlightenments. And Vishwamitra was a great sadhak of the Gayatri mantras as well. And he was the worshipper of the Parasakti and so on. So today, this much to speak about how we can reduce the kleshas, the 5 kleshas by the meditations. So there are 2 kinds of samadhi, that 10 samadhi already we study in the first chapter of the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So this is the Meghanad samadhi, Kaivalya samadhi, that you may find out some this kind of samadhi, the words in the Kaivalya pada. So that is called samadhi pada, sadhana pada, vibhuti pada, then Kaivalya pada. So final chapter. So that also in future I'm going to teach to all of you, because this is advanced science of the Yoga Darshan or the from the Advaita Vedanta, for the Advaita Vedanta. When you study Advaita Vedanta, but Brahma Sutra, And sometimes you need a lot of preparation to study Brahma Sutra, the science of absolute. Very interesting science. And I've been studying all these Brahma Sutras. So hope one day, and I will teach you the science of Brahma Sutra as well. That what I've been studied in the traditional monasteries. So it is my time, and not only I'm teaching you, it is also a lot of things for me, and to bring it into my consciousness, into my consciousness. So it is also for me, and a lot of self-inquiry as well. When I'm teaching you, it is also for my own self-inquiries. So that is called real Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is all about to analysis of yourself, Atma Chintan, self-inquiry. That is very important. Atma Jnana Yoga is not about to study only all scriptures, but it's very important, and to self-inquiry. So next time, I think we need to finish the Tattva Bodha. Once I finish Tattva Bodha, so then I'm going to teach you Upanishads. So that is the after some time. And you know that, so all my teachings will be until the 13th or 12th of January, then I'll be silent. The 14th of January will start my Panchagni. So no more lectures until the finish the Panchagni ceremonies. But of course, if there is some other courses, some students are coming, there will be lectures. So May, you can have Zoom meetings or live classes from the other acharyas. That's what I can say. So thank you for today, and let we keep continue tomorrow also. I think not tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Saturday, right? Tomorrow is the Tantra Darshan. So let's keep continue Tantra Darshans, and so we can specific it to go again the beginning of Tantra. I have been already secret sadhanas, all Gupta sadhanas. So let we stop some Gupta sadhana, but begin with Tantra clear to study, because we can follow some sutras at least for a homework, right? So that I'll check tomorrow. Om Sankaram Sankaracharyam Kesavam Vadarayanam Sutrabhasakritam Bande Bhagavanto Punaha Punaha Ishvara Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagini Vyamavad Vyapta Dehaya Dachina Murtai Namaham Om Gungurubhyo Namaha Om Ganganapataye Namaha Om Em Saraswate Namaha Om Klim Kalikai Namaha Om Klim Bhadrakali Namaha Om Dandurgai Namaha Om Hrim Namah Shivaya Loka Samasta Shukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Gungurubhyo Namaha Harihi. So thanks to all of you. God bless you, and may Parasakti, the Shiva Sakti, bless you all. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
And meditate, meditate, meditate. Be free from all classes and attain the Kaivalya Samadhi in order to have the final freedom. Om.